3 million weekly active users, 3 times the number from January. 100% of pull requests at OpenAI by every employee, including Greg Brockman, are reviewed by Codex before a human ever opens them. The OpenAI Codex team just gave a 60-minute masterclass at the AI Engineer Conference. Most viewers will scroll past. The 10 things they showed are the playbook for how every serious coding agent is going to work over the next 12 months. We are going to walk through every single one. By the end of this video, you will know what they shipped, what is hiding in the bleeding edge tab, and how to set it all up on your own machine. First, the framing. Codex is not a code completion tool. It is not a chat window with autocomplete. The OpenAI team is very explicit about this. Codex is a software engineering agent. It runs commands, it runs tests, it explores code bases, it opens browsers and clicks around, and it ships pull requests on its own. Same shape as a junior engineer with infinite patience. That distinction matters because everything else in this video, the plugins, the subagents, the hooks, only makes sense once you stop thinking about Codex as an editor feature and start thinking about it as a teammate that lives inside your repo. Second, the model ladder. The team walked through the entire family. The foundation is GPT 5.2, then a Codex tuned variant on top of that. Then GPT 5.3 with another Codex variant. Then a research preview called Codex Spark, running on Cerebras hardware, that is described as blazingly fast and recommended for fast read only subagents. Then the current state of the art, GPT 5.4, with a mini and nano version that shipped last week. Every time the underlying model improves, every Codex feature improves with it. So when you pick a model for a subagent, you are choosing a point on the speed versus reasoning curve, not a different product. Third, the speed story nobody is talking about. The team confirmed 2 changes in the harness that compound. The first change is a switch from regular HTTPS streaming to WebSockets, which on its own pushes token throughput about 1.75 times faster. The second change is a new fast mode, which stacks on top of WebSockets and adds another roughly 2 times. So the same model running through the same harness now feels about 3.5 times faster end to end, with no extra cost and no quality loss. If you have not turned fast mode on yet, you are running a slower Codex than the OpenAI team is. Fourth, the Codex app got a real upgrade. The native desktop app now manages Git work trees automatically. So you can work on 3 or 4 features in parallel without losing your place. You can run multiple Codex sessions side by side on different parts of the same repo. And here is the unlock most people missed. The Windows version now ships with a native sandbox. That is a first across the major coding agents. If you are a Windows developer, you no longer have to choose between losing isolation and losing the agent. Codex on Windows is finally a real product, not a port. Fifth, plugins. This is the system that ties everything together. A Codex plugin is a bundle of 3 things. Skills, which are reusable prompt and tool definitions that teach Codex new behavior. Apps, which are entire integrated workflows like a game studio or a research pipeline. And MCP servers, which are the standard way to connect external tools and data sources. You install a plugin once and you get all 3. That is the cleanest distribution story of any coding agent right now. The other tools have skills or apps or MCP, but Codex packages all three behind a single install. Sixth, the live demo. Katia Guzman from the team typed one sentence: build a platformer game with platforms made of bricks. The Game Studio plugin kicked in. Imogen generated the sprites. Playwright Interactive, which is a skill that lets Codex drive a real browser, played the game and took screenshots of itself. Codex looked at its own gameplay and corrected the level design. The whole thing took about an hour from one prompt to a working playable platformer with custom art. No human in the loop. That is the picture of where coding agents are going. You describe an outcome, the agent assembles the toolchain. Seventh, automations on a schedule. Codex now runs as a cron job. The team showed two real ones from inside OpenAI. A Slack triage automation that reads every channel every morning, summarizes anything that needs attention, and posts the summary as a message. A Gmail filter that classifies inbound mail, drafts replies for the easy ones, and flags the hard ones for a human. These are not toy demos. They are real internal tools running on a daily cadence. If you have ever wanted a personal AI chief of staff, this is the architecture. Plugins for capability, automations for cadence, sub-agents for parallelism. Eighth, code review at OpenAI. This is the moment the room went quiet. Vaibhav Srivastav confirmed live on stage that 100% of pull requests across all OpenAI repos opened by every single employee, including Greg Brockman, are reviewed by Codex by default. The slash review command is now wired into the GitHub PR flow. Every diff gets a Codex pass before any human comments. There is also a Claude Code plugin that lets you trigger that same Codex review from inside Claude Code. The lesson here is not that AI review is good. The lesson is that the company building the model is willing to bet its own code on it. Ninth, subagents. This is the most underrated feature in the talk. Vaibhav opened a single Codex session, fanned out 20 parallel subagents to inspect a repo with 45 different personas, and showed all of it on screen. Each subagent gets its own model, its own reasoning effort, its own sandbox mode, whether read only or write enabled, and its own MCP server access. All of it defined in a simple TOML file. The default shipped personas are General, Worker, and Explorer. You write your own custom ones with 5 lines of config. 6 can run concurrently per session. This is the multi-agent pattern most teams have been failing to ship for a year, finally as a clean primitive. 10th, the bleeding edge tab. This is where the team teased what is shipping next. Guardian approvals is a sub-agent that decides whether you actually need to approve a privileged action. So you stop bouncing between YOLO mode and constant interruption. Hooks expose 3 lifecycle events: session start, post tool use, and stop. Vaibhav showed a Python stop hook that detects when Codex finishes and immediately tells it to keep going, turning Codex into an indefinite autonomous loop. Personalities lets you define how Codex talks back. And Codex security adds a layer that scans every change for credential leaks and risky patterns before the diff is committed. That is the next 6 months of coding agent evolution, all in one tab. That is the masterclass. 10 things: the model ladder, the speed harness, the app, the plugins, the live demo, the automations, the review at OpenAI, the sub-agents, and the bleeding edge. If you take only one thing from this video, take the framing. Codex is not a coding tool. It is the first real software engineering agent that you can extend, parallelize, and run on a schedule. If you want our complete Codex Masterclass cheat sheet with the persona TOML examples, the hook recipes, the plugin map, and the model ladder, comment Codex Pro below and we will send you the free PDF. Subscribe for daily Codex breakdowns. We are doing every one of these features in depth in the next 2 weeks.